First, I want to start a video by saying that there are no bad or dangerous movements for hypertrophy. This is not gonna be a video about dangerous exercises. No exercise is dangerous as long as you have the mobility for it. So you won't see something like upright rows in this video, because I do believe that this movement is actually very good for hypertrophy. And it's not dangerous either. Some people just fearmonger you into thinking that some movements are dangerous. But if you actually look at the movement and do it, you'll realize that it's actually very safe. So this is not gonna be a video about dangerous exercises, as I think that's a pretty stupid video idea, since no exercise is inherently dangerous, but any exercise can injure you. This video is about exercises that are bad from a hypertrophy context, so you won't get hurt if you do them, and you can do them if you really like doing them, but in terms of gaining muscle, they are not the best. So one exercise that some people prescribe is the plate press, which consists of you squeezing and pressing the plates or dumbbells as hard as you can while pressing them. One reason this is not a good exercise is because some people do it standing, which doesn't really make sense because the gravity pulls the weight down. It's not a cable. So you're really doing a front delt exercise rather than a chest exercise. But even if you were to do it on a bench, it's not a great exercise either, because you limit the range of motion for no reason, and you limit the best part of the range of motion, which is the stretch. So this would not be a very good exercise for hypertrophy. You're better off doing regular dumbbell bench press. However, a good thing that this exercise can do for you is to activate your chest. Some beginners don't really feel their chest when benching, so this exercise can help you feel the chest more, because you're actively squeezing it. So you can do some reps with light weight before you train your chest to activate it more. But you don't need to do it, only if you really want to. So this is a pretty bad lift for hypertrophy. But if you really like it, then you can keep doing it. If for some reason you love it that much, then you can keep doing it. Like I said before, this is not a dangerous lift. It's just not as good for hypertrophy. And this is gonna be the theme for this whole video. If you really like the movement, you can keep doing it. Just know that it's not that good for hypertrophy. But if you have fun while doing it, there's no point in taking it out of the program. Another exercise that is pretty bad for hypertrophy is the dumbbell kickback. Some people still do them, but the problem with this is that at the bottom of the range of motion there's no tension at all. But with the dumbbell kickback it's even worse, because there's not really any tension in the middle part of the range of motion either. The only part where you feel tension is at the top. So when you look at it, it doesn't seem like a super bad lift. But when you do it, you realize that you get zero tension for the whole movement except the top. And there are other exercises like this, but not to the same extreme as the dumbbell kickback. Lateral raises are the hardest at the top as well, but you do also have tension in the middle and the bottom of the range of motion, even if it's just a little. With the dumbbell kickback, there's pretty much no tension other than the top. You're better off doing any variation of a tricep extension, and you'll get much more gains that way. It doesn't matter if it's cables, dumbbells, barbells, any tricep extension is better than this. Another exercise that's not that great for hypertrophy, and this is actually not a singular exercise but multiple ones, are the exercises that are hard to reach failure on, or the exercises that you need a lot of skill to perform them. So something like Olympic weightlifting, or something I see a lot of people do in the gym, walking lunges. They seem like a pretty good exercise, but it's really hard to reach failure on them. And that is a very important metric for hypertrophy. Instead of doing that, just do regular lunges instead, or Bulgarian split squats, or any other exercise where you focus on one leg at a time. Again, box jumps, I see a lot of people do in the gym, and that is a good exercise for athletes, but it won't make you reach failure. You won't really grow your legs from that. So it's not a good lift for hypertrophy. A squat will get you much farther. So if you have a tough time reaching failure on an exercise, it's probably not a great exercise for hypertrophy. Another group of exercises that are bad for hypertrophy are the ones where you're too strong for them to be effective. So if you maxed out on a machine, move on. Do another exercise. You can't keep slowing down your tempo and pausing and adding more reps forever. Just move on and do another exercise. Or things that are hard to set up. So for example, a goblet squat could be a great exercise for a beginner. But the more you advance, the heavier that dumbbell is gonna be. And it's gonna be harder and harder to set it up. And you'll have to ditch it at some point because it will become way too hard to even set it up. So any exercise like that is not gonna be good in the long term for hypertrophy. And now probably the worst exercise that you could do for hypertrophy are the combo exercises. These exercises are prescribed by people who don't know what they're doing, and they shouldn't be coaching other people. I'm talking about those exercises where you do a squat and then you immediately do a curl right after, with the same exact weight, or any other thing like that. Some people might think that it looks cool, but anyone who knows anything about the gym knows that this is bullshit. because you're not gonna curl the same weight you squat. Those exercises are great on their own, but together they're a bad exercise. You won't get anywhere close to reaching failure on your legs because your legs are much stronger than your biceps, and using the same weight is just dumb. Not to mention that most people who do those exercises don't even reach failure on their biceps. They stop at like RP4. They have like 10 reps in the tank. And even if you were to try to go hard, your cardio will probably fail you first, because those are more of a cardio exercise than anything else. Never combine two exercises in one, because the way that you need to use will differ. Some people think that they're saving time by doing this, but they're just wasting it. If you really want to save time, do two different exercises, but superset them. So do one after another without any rest in between. I made a video about supersets if you want to learn more about this.